Yesterday, over the Yellow Sea southeast of Okinawa's main island, there was an incident where fighter jets launched from a Chinese military aircraft carrier intermittently directed their radar at Japanese Self-Defense Force fighter jets that were conducting airspace intrusion response measures. There was no damage to the Self-Defense Force aircraft or personnel. This radar illumination exceeded the necessary range for the safe flight of aircraft and is considered a dangerous act. It is extremely regrettable that such an incident has occurred. We have lodged a strong protest with the Chinese side and have firmly demanded measures to prevent a recurrence. We will continue to respond calmly and resolutely. We will closely monitor the movements of the Chinese military in the waters and airspace surrounding our country, and we will make every effort to ensure thorough vigilance and surveillance activities in this area.
The key point of this incident is that Japanese fighter jets intruded into the area where the Chinese side was conducting exercises without authorization, interfering with China's military activities. They conducted close-in reconnaissance and interference. Furthermore, they even tried to play the victim by hyping up the so-called radar illumination issue, turning facts upside down, shifting blame onto others, and misleading the international community. China is strongly dissatisfied and firmly opposes this, and has lodged stern representations and strong protests with the Japanese side. Everything is clear and obvious to everyone. At this time, the Japanese side is deliberately spreading and hyping up false information in the field of military security. Their intention in exaggerating tensions is entirely ulterior. We strongly urge the Japanese side to immediately stop its dangerous actions that disrupt China's normal exercises and training activities. Stop all irresponsible false hype and political manipulation.
Tensions between Japan and China are escalating after Tokyo accused Chinese fighter jets of directing fire control radar at Japanese military aircraft in two dangerous encounters near the Okinawa Islands. Japan's defense minister, Shinjiro Koizumi, said the radar illumination went far beyond what was necessary for safe flight and signaled a potential threat. Japan has lodged a formal protest with Beijing over what it described as a regrettable incident. Speaking alongside Australian Defense Minister Richard Marles in Tokyo, Koizumi said Japan would respond resolutely and calmly in order to uphold regional peace and stability.
Thank you all for gathering here today. I would like to report on the incident involving a Chinese military aircraft directing its radar at a self-defense forces aircraft. There were two instances of radar illumination. The first occurred on Saturday, December 6th, between approximately 16:32 and 16:35, when a J-15 fighter jet launched from the Chinese Navy's aircraft carrier Liaoning illuminated an F-15 fighter jet of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, which was conducting measures against airspace intrusion over international waters southeast of Okinawa Island. There was an incident in which radar illumination was carried out intermittently. Second, between approximately 1837 and 1908 on the same day, a J-15 fighter jet launched from the Chinese Navy's aircraft carrier Liaoning intermittently illuminated with radar an Air Self-Defense Force F-15 fighter jet, which was conducting measures against a major airspace intrusion over international waters southeast of Okinawa Island. This was a separate incident from the first one. An incident occurred. This radar illumination was a dangerous act that exceeded the bounds necessary for the safe flight of aircraft. The occurrence of such an incident is extremely regrettable, and we have lodged a strong protest with the Chinese side and firmly requested measures to prevent a recurrence. It should be noted that there was no damage to the Self-Defense Force aircraft or personnel. For further details, the staff will provide a briefing after this, so I would appreciate your attention. That is all from me. Inoue-san, please.
Thank you. That is all.
China has strongly denied the accusation. A Chinese Navy spokesperson, Colonel Wang Shumeng, claimed Japanese aircraft had repeatedly approached and disrupted Chinese naval operations during previously announced carrier-based flight training east of the Miyako Strait. Wang accused Japan of endangering flight safety and demanded that Tokyo stop what he called slander and smearing. He warned that the Chinese Navy would take all necessary measures to protect its security interests. Directing fire control radar at another aircraft is considered a highly aggressive military move, as it signals a potential missile lock-on and could force pilots to take evasive action. Japan has not disclosed whether a full radar lock was achieved or how its aircraft responded. Japan confirmed that the Chinese jets involved were J-15 fighter aircraft launched from the Liaoning aircraft carrier, which was operating south of Okinawa with multiple missile destroyers. Japan scrambled F-15 fighter jets in response. This is not the first such confrontation. Japan says Chinese warships locked radar onto Japanese vessels in 2013, while China accused Japanese aircraft of similar actions in 2016. Just months ago, Chinese jets flew dangerously close to a Japanese patrol aircraft. The incidents come amid worsening China-Japan relations over Taiwan. Tensions have risen sharply since Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi warned that Japan could respond to any Chinese action against Taiwan that also threatened Japanese security. China has also advised its citizens not to travel to Japan and has paused plans to restart seafood imports that were suspended after Japan released treated water from the Fukushima nuclear plant. China claims Taiwan as its territory and has stepped up military pressure on the island. Taiwan lies just 110 kilometers from Japan's westmost island, Yonaguni, underscoring the strategic risk for Japan. Japan also hosts the largest concentration of U.S. military power overseas, including warships, advanced aircraft, and thousands of U.S. Marines stationed in Okinawa. While the U.S. ambassador to Japan has voiced support for Tokyo, President Donald Trump and other senior U.S. officials have remained publicly silent. However, Trump reportedly urged Japanese leaders last month not to escalate tensions during a phone call. Meanwhile, China has deployed more than 100 naval and Coast Guard vessels across East Asian waters at one point, raising alarm in Taiwan and Japan. Taiwan's Coast Guard says it is currently monitoring fresh Chinese drills near the Taiwan Strait, while accusing Beijing of using misleading language as part of psychological warfare. With military maneuvers intensifying across the region, security analysts warn the Indo-Pacific remains on edge, and the risk of miscalculation is growing.